It's another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, episode 785, and I'm Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy Friday, and welcome to another Q&A edition of Optimal Health Daily, where I answer your health questions related to fitness, diet, and nutrition, and lots more. You send in the questions, and I answer them for you. Now, if you want to send me a question, come by oldpodcast.com/ask, or you can call in your question. Just dial 61 I love OHD. Now, if you're new here and are wondering why you should bother sending me a question, if you're wondering, well, what makes me such an expert? I do have my Doctor of Public Health degree with an emphasis in chronic disease prevention and nutrition. I also have my Master of Public Health degree with an emphasis in health promotion and health education. I'm also a registered dietitian nutritionist, a certified health education specialist, and a certified exercise physiologist through the American College of Sports Medicine. And I like to say when I'm not doing this podcast, besides nerding out on superhero movies and reading books on how to invest money, I hold 3 faculty positions at various institutions. I've also presented original research at national conferences, and I've been quoted in over 70 different media publications. All right, enough about me. Let's hear today's question as we optimize your life.
Hi, I'm just learning about food combining, and I would love to hear an episode about it. About how to combine foods in a way not just for flavor, but for how to aid proper digestion and avoid having undigested proteins and therefore toxins in the body. So yeah, hopefully I see an episode. Thanks.
Thank you for your question, Zach. There are definitely benefits to combining certain foods. Unfortunately, not all of these studies directly relate to your question, though. For example, combining certain foods may change how they are absorbed by the body. So when it comes to minimizing discomfort brought on by certain foods, it often comes down to simply avoiding those foods or eating less of them. For example, in some folks, consuming alcohol or caffeine can make their heartburn symptoms worse. So they probably want to simply avoid those foods. But again, your question about food combining is a good one. Now, while I may not be able to answer all of your questions, I want to talk about some of the benefits of combining certain foods to maximize their health benefits. First, I'll begin with protein. There's a long-held myth that those that follow a vegetarian diet don't consume enough protein each day, but researchers have found that this isn't the case. Some then argue that, sure, vegetarians might eat enough protein, but it's not high-quality protein. And since it's not high quality, they aren't going to be able to support proper muscle growth. Well, this is also incorrect. That's because plant-based foods do contain protein, and believe it or not, in addition to the obvious go-tos like beans, nuts, and seeds, other plant-based foods contain proteins too. For example, grains and grasses like wheat, corn, and rice contain proteins as well. They each contain varying amounts of protein, but when we combine plant-based foods in our diets, like when we eat beans and rice, it provides the body with all of the essential proteins it needs to support proper growth and development. And yes, that includes muscle growth. So when we eat a combination of plant-based foods, we still get all the protein the body needs. Now, speaking of protein, when we consume protein-rich foods with carbohydrate-rich foods, we can slow down the absorption of certain foods. So by delaying the absorption of carbohydrates, for example, we prevent spikes in our blood sugar levels. This can be very helpful in the prevention of diabetes. Or for someone that's already been diagnosed with diabetes, consuming some protein anytime they consume a carbohydrate can help manage their blood sugar levels. For example, if they want to snack on some crackers, let's say, add some cheese with that. Or if they're consuming graham crackers, top them with some sort of nut butter. This will help delay the absorption of the carbohydrate-rich foods, which will then help prevent spikes in their blood sugar levels. Next, iron. Within the scientific community, there appears to be a consensus that many folks are iron deficient. While usually not life-threatening, low iron levels can lead to feelings of fatigue or weakness, so maximizing iron intake can help prevent this. Animal products are typically good sources of iron, but they aren't the only sources. Some plant-based foods like spinach are a decent source, but the iron found in plant-based foods is not easily absorbed. But with a little help from vitamin C, the body can better absorb these plant-based iron sources. This is because vitamin C breaks down iron into a form that's easier for the body to absorb. So, if you're eating, let's say, a spinach salad, use a citrus-based dressing, which will be high in vitamin C because of all that citrus. That will help the body absorb the iron that is in the spinach a bit more easily. Now, speaking of vitamins, is there a way to absorb vitamins any better? I'm so glad I asked, because there are a group of them called fat-soluble vitamins that many of us don't consume enough of each day. To help remember which vitamins are fat-soluble versus not fat-soluble, it's really easy because there are only 4 known fat-soluble vitamins. Those are vitamins A, D, E, and K. That's it, A, D, E, and K. And what we're finding is many adults are deficient in vitamins A and D specifically. But we can help the body absorb these vitamins by pairing them with fat. This is because these vitamins are, again, fat-soluble, which means they actually like fat. No, scratch that. They are obsessed with fat. Wherever fat goes, they go. Tomatoes are a good source of vitamin A. So, if we cook them with a heart-healthy fat like olive oil, we can improve the absorption of vitamin A. It's as simple as that. Lastly, I want to mention turmeric. I get a lot of questions about the health benefits of turmeric, and so I want to discuss how we can maximize its absorption. Turmeric appears to have some powerful anti-inflammatory effects, which is partly why it's becoming the new health craze. In fact, just last weekend, a family member was asking me about something called golden milk. Golden milk is a mixture of turmeric with some other spices, often cinnamon and ginger, which is then added to a dairy-based or non-dairy-based milk and then consumed. But when I looked at the ingredients on this golden milk package specifically, I noticed something was missing. Black pepper was missing from the ingredients list. Researchers have found that consuming turmeric with black pepper dramatically increases its rate of absorption. Because the golden milk mix didn't contain any black pepper, I told my family member to go ahead and sprinkle some into their drink. Oh, and consuming turmeric with fat also seems to help with its absorption, so adding it to a dairy or non-dairy-based milk makes sense. Oh, and one more thing about protein and carbohydrates. If we want to maximize protein absorption, let's say especially after a workout, you don't want to just consume protein alone. You actually want to combine it with some carbohydrates, because what we're finding is protein is absorbed better in the presence of carbohydrate. So after a workout, if you want to maximize your protein absorption, don't just eat protein, have a little carb with it too. So, Zach, as we can see, combining certain foods can help to support optimal health and wellness. And thank you again so much for the question. Zach, you're going to be entered into a very small raffle every month to win a book. And if you want to be in the raffle, send me a question. Just come by oldpodcast.com/ask. You can record right from your computer's microphone. It's really easy, and you can even play back your message and do retakes before sending it in. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call in your question. The number is 61 I love OHD. Both methods are in this episode's description, which you can find at oldpodcast.com. All right, that's another week of Optimal Health Daily. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thank you for your continued support. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you back here on Monday where your optimal life awaits.